So Bill Maher has done it again.
He's done it again.
He's done it again, and let's just get right to it.
But isn't it amazing to you? Like it was in the paper today about this country came out of the pandemic way better. We won the pandemic economically. I mean, America.
God, I don't feel that way. Explain it to me. I feel like inflation's insane.
Inflation is not insane.
Bill, go buy a car.
There's numbers. Oh, I understand things, but it has
tripled here.
Look, I get that people
buy some fucking eggs. Explain it to me. I'm not an economist. There's
feelings, and then there's the numbers.
Okay, what are the numbers?
The numbers have come down a lot in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Of course, it was inevitable when we gave out $6 trillion so that everybody could hide under the bed from the forever flu. That was never going to end well.
It was taken by the richest people ever and didn't get where it needed to go.
A lot of it was stolen. It was. We agree on that too. It was like, was there some response needed? Of course, you don't want the hospitals overrun, but it was just a massive overreaction, and that did cause some of the inflation.
So Bill Maher is about as in touch with what's going on with struggling Americans as Martha Stewart is with hip hop culture. Okay. But I mean, come on.
She's more in touch. She's been to jail.
He's sitting there with a cocktail and a joint in his hand. And everybody knows when alcohol's involved, that's when the truth happens. We won the pandemic. This guy's been hanging out with Biden too much. I think he means we've won a game of pinochle. And by the way, can you show if inflation wasn't insane, would he be wearing that shirt? Come on.
We won the pandemic. Me and Seth MacFarlane are still white guys that have our TV jobs. When Jimmy Kimmel won, the three Jimmys.
I just can't get so let me just show you how much. So the woman gives three great examples. She was, what about?
I know. I'll be Bill Maher while you try to tell me. I know.
What about?
There's feelings in the.
What
numbers.
about? But Bill, Bill, let me show you rent versus income. We'll go back to 1985. This is rent. This is how rent has gone.
Wow.
This is how income has gone. And rent went down slightly during the pandemic, and then it's right back up. So Bill Maher says, so Bill Maher would tell you that you shouldn't rent. You should buy a house, or you should live on your boat. What? You don't have a boat? What are you, all fucking losers? That's what Bill Maher would say.
Do you know the real Marie Antoinette never said let them eat cake? Somebody made that up as an insult to get people mad at her. But now they actually say that.
They're actually saying that. This is real. This is...
Let them buy a house.
This is like a Rorschach test. What do you see when you see this, Bill Maher? He sees the economy's great. We won. That's what he sees. So here, by the way, homes built by the United States by decade. Do you know, look at all the houses they used to build in the 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, and then it stopped.
Well, I think what we've learned from this is Bill Maher's paying less for hookers right now, and he's happy with that.
Well, he's paying, I mean, he's
per hooker,
but he is paying more for a pomade.
The money I save on my cheap labor hookers, I can put in pomade.
It looks like home building tapered off just slightly since the oligarchs decided to crush humanity.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's no correlation there, right, Bill? It's just a coincidence. I don't want to be labeled some kind of fucking conspiracy nut, but I think at some point we have to stop using cooking books as references points. But this is here. Look, even PBS knows things are fucked up. So here's what rental prices are unaffordable for a record number of Americans, with half of all renters paying more than 30% of their income for rent and utilities, according to here we go.
Heard from, they're all described as cost burdened in housing market lingo. That means they're paying more than 30% of their income toward rent. Your study found that in 2022, 22.4 million Americans were in that boat. Tell us more about what was behind that.
That's correct. We saw a record high number of cost burdened renters in 2022. Part of this came from record
I like how they say cost burdened.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That cost
the rent is too damn high.
That's like a liberal term for indentured service.
And why is Hannah Gadsby never funny?
I swear to God, cost burdened. That's like calling indentured slavery. I mean, that's like calling a homeless person sky roofed. That's
like calling them unhoused, which is the new correct term. We're cost burdened and unhoused.
So anyway, she says cost burdened. Here we go.
Rent growth that came at the end of 2021 and early 2022. And that was really from a surge in rental demand in a period where we just weren't building enough. So we weren't getting enough supply. We were seeing a huge increase in the number of renter households. That drove vacancy rates really low, and it really pushed rents up, and it made it much harder for people to afford their housing.
And I understand that this was something you saw across income levels, correct?
That's correct. We saw a large increase in cost burdens from 2019 to 2022, an additional 2 million households, and an increase of about 3 percentage points, pushing the total cost burden rate up to about 50%. We saw this across every single income category we looked at, with especially large increases among middle income renter households. But even among the lowest income households who make less than $30,000, their cost burden rate increased by a percentage point and a half to another record high of 83%.
We can all imagine what that might mean for someone already making low wages. For how many Americans did that mean homelessness or sacrificing essentials?
Lower income households who are severely cost burdened, meaning they spend more than half of their income on rent and utilities, are less likely to spend on things like food, healthcare, retirement. So we see significant differences between those who are severely cost burdened and those who are not cost burdened. So there's certainly trade-offs that are involved when you live in unaffordable housing. This year, we have also seen a record high number of people who are experiencing homelessness. And so certainly this lack of affordable housing is pushing people into these situations where they just can't afford anything, and they end up in shelters, or they end up in places like in cars on the streets, where it's a more visible form of unsheltered homelessness.
How much of that in 2022 was sort of due to the pandemic and the burdens on families from that?
The rise in homelessness really came at a time when we saw pandemic relief measures ending, and rents were also increasing at some of the fastest rates we've ever seen. So it really put a lot of households in a bind.
Whitney, I do understand that in the last year, rental prices have been slowing. Does that mean things are getting better for renters now?
What we're seeing in some of the rent data is that there's a slowing of rent growth, and in some markets there's actual declines in rents. But what we saw during the pandemic were such significant increases. So in some quarters, rents were increasing by more than 20% year over year. And so we're really in a situation where things are much less affordable than they were pre-pandemic. We are seeing some of that market cooling, some deceleration of rent growth, but in most places, rents are in fact still growing.
When you talk about supply, the supply of low rent units, according to your report, has precipitously declined in the last decade. So those renters, I assume, will continue to feel the squeeze. What are effective ways to address that problem and rent affordability overall?
We're really going to need every tool that we have in the toolbox. And so a lot of policy momentum right now is just around increasing supply, with the idea that a lot of supply at the higher end will filter down and provide rent relief further down the market. And so we're seeing a lot of zoning reform across the country. What we're really going to need, though, are increased subsidies. So things like public housing or housing choice vouchers, and a much broader commitment from our federal, state, and local levels toward really addressing the affordability crisis, both toward increasing affordable options and toward really addressing this problem of rising homelessness that we're also seeing.
Is Rain Person telling us they're going to do another Trojan Horse thing where, because housing choice vouchers? What the hell does that mean? Put more houses so houses are cheap and you could buy a goddamn house and own something, which I thought you're supposed to be able to do. And then I don't need your, see the slowly we're going to take all your control away from you. Oh, there's a problem, isn't it? Well, we got to use everything at our disposal. House choice, like school choice vouchers?
So some people say, Kurt, that we don't even need new housing, but we just need to restore and preserve what we already have. New homes are poorly built and exploit natural resources. Preservation and restoration provide just as many jobs and as much housing. This is what some people say. Here's one: demolition. Wait. So, for instance, you know that more than 15 million homes are sitting empty in the United States? Google that. Could you see?
This sounds like what people criticize China for. They destroy these things that have been around forever to make this gaudy, ugly, like shopping mall stuff. They'll destroy antique. So that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Siri, how many empty homes are there in the United States?
15.1 million vacant homes nationwide in 2022. These vacant homes, which include rentals, represent 10.5% of the country's total housing inventory.
Oh, so that they're all, especially here in New York, and I bet you London as well, foreign investment Tim Dillon told me this a long time ago.
They buy it.
No
and
one lives in the goddamn building.
And no one lives in the building.
You know, that's what China does too. But people bought like crappy buildings that no one lives in, that they didn't need to live in to do that. They're doing it with like sweet real estate here. They're giving it to foreign investors.
Yes.
Wow. So it's on purpose. So the whole thing's on purpose.
So this homelessness, this is all, again, there's a billionaire class that run everything, and they want to crush the working class.
They're going to get you on a UBH to get your UPI. You need a place to get your UBI. So they're going to put you on.
That's right. They want you on a UBI so then they can control your money, turn it on and
off. Where you can live,
where you can spend it. They want, and then they don't have to put you in a concentration camp, because then no matter where you are, becomes a concentration camp. Because if it's your car, they have a kill switch on your car. They can just turn your car off. They can then turn off your money. They can then turn off your bank account. So now you are concentrated wherever you are. They've got you completely controlled.
No more prisons, because everything's a prison.
That's right. No more prisons, because everywhere's a prison.
And you know what happens in prison? A lot of guys turn into women out of necessity.
So this is happening right in front of our face, and you have guys like Bill Maher who say this.
But isn't it amazing to you? Like, it was in the paper today about this country came out of the pandemic.
The paper. It was in the paper today.
What paper?
Bill Maher, what paper are you reading, Bill?
My toilet.
You're reading
paper.
You're reading the LA Times. You're reading the New York Times. You're reading the Jeff Bezos-owned Washington Post Times.
The paper I wipe my ass on. Okay.
It's in the paper. He says the paper as if the paper is the news. The reason why I have a show, the reason why Glenn Greenwald has a show, the reason why Russell Brand has a show, the reason why Gray Zone exists is because you can't believe what you read in the paper, Bill. It was in the paper today. It was in the paper.
What paper? He didn't read the paper, first of all.
It was in the paper today, Bill.
Did you scan your phone while you were taking a shit and look at some headlines? That's what he means by the paper.
And here's his assessment.
Way better. We won the pandemic economically. I mean, America.
We won.
Yay.
So he says that because the stock market went up because they threw $6 trillion at it. And he's invested in the stock market. So he looks at his portfolio and he goes, we won.
The crystal ball.
Have you driven around the country?
No, he told Marianne Williamson. Why would I do that?
He goes, why would I do that? He said to Marianne Williamson.
Crystal Ball told him about how they bailed out the stock market. What? Wait, I didn't hear about this. She was right.
Of course.
He's already forgotten. You got to switch to sativa, buddy. Indica's not good for Bill.
That is just, we won. We won. We kicked it. We won.
What's her name again?
That guy has a fucking show that people look to because he comments on current events and politics. What the fuck?
He became a CEO.
You might as well listen to John Bolton about who we should invade next. What?
He became so he starts out as the business guy, he builds his business up, and then he has other people doing all the research and work, and he's at his chilling, smoking indica and getting drunk and lightly not knowing about things. And why would he want to look into any of it since it's going great?
It's going great for him.
He skated saying the N-word on TV. He skated on those charges. Why would, and he's forgiven for, by the way, I don't even think he should be fired for saying it. Because the thing he said is right. He goes, I'm a house N-word, sir. Yeah, you are, Bill. You ain't no field slave. You're a house slave.
That's right.
Yep.
That breaks my brain. Nothing's more important than sleep. And I know that because I lost my sleep recently. You know about that. But guess what helps? Good bedding. So every day I do a list of things I'm grateful for. And always in the top 10 is my bed and my bedding. And I'm not kidding. I have to tell you about Cozy Earth because I have to tell you about my sheets. We got these sheets. They're our favorite sheets. Now, that's true. Cozy Earth sheets, life-changing. Cozy Earth's best-selling bamboo sheet set. It's made from 100% premium viscose from bamboo, which makes them naturally temperature-regulating and breathable, so you'll sleep more comfortably all year round. So I had these bamboo sheets before. I kind of liked them. Steph didn't. So now we got these Cozy Earth ones that are made from viscose. from bamboo. It's our favorite. And this is no kidding. So they're uniquely soft, that's what it says, and only get softer with every wash. I can't believe they're going to get softer than they already are. By the way, this brand is that made Oprah's favorite things 5 years in a row. 5 years in a row. Wow, that's really something. And I don't even like Oprah. Cozy Earth comes with a 100-night sleep trial. 100. So this is the thing I don't understand. If you don't like the sheets, you can send them back after 100 nights. Isn't that crazy? I've never heard of that. If you're not completely in love with them after 100 nights, just return them for a full refund. Where do you ever get a deal like that? That seems crazy. All their products include a 10-year warranty against defects. Whether it's their luxury bedding, ultra-comfortable loungewear, plush bath towels, and more. We should get some of their bath towels. You'll love shopping at Cozy Earth. Hey, guess what? I think I got you a deal. Let's look. If you've never tried Cozy Earth, I've got awesome news for you. You can save up to 35% off Cozy Earth right now, but you got to hurry because it won't last. Go to CozyEarth.com and enter the promo code Jimmy at checkout for up to 35% off. Wow, that's quite crazy. That's CozyEarth.com. Use promo code Jimmy. CozyEarth.com. Hey, come see us. We're telling jokes in Philadelphia, Boston, Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, and El Paso and San Antonio, Texas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.